Hey guys, President Dominic East Realty, part of the Johnson Group here in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. I'm here with Brandon Giebler from Next Move Realty. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Living my best life. How are you?
I'm doing good. Are you enjoying your 4-day weekend, President's Day weekend? Did you get a 4-day weekend?
No, I don't get a weekend. What's a weekend?
Yeah, no, I got you. Well, we
Adult
spent a
thing.
lot of money this weekend on appliances, so it was a sale, so that's good. But daggum, it hurt. It hurt bad. To be honest with you, huh?
Appliances suck.
No, they're tough. They're tough. And then also it's my son's birthday, 19th birthday, which is crazy. He's a man. I can't believe how old I feel. Just 19-year-old son.
Can you believe how old you look?
Oh, thanks. Well, if he ever watches the show, happy birthday, buddy. But today we're going to be having Ben Blackwell on from the Rincon City Council. And we're super excited. I met him in the gym, him and his lovely wife, Karen, and got to talking. And so I asked him, hey, why don't you come on? And so we got Ben here with us. Let's get him on the line. Here we go. Hey, Ben, how you doing?
Doing great, guys. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. How's your President's Day weekend?
Pretty good. I just hung around the house and watched a little bit of the Olympics and caught up on some stuff. So,
What's your favorite Olympic sport right now?
maybe the ski jumping and where the snowboarders go down. Also the figure skating. That's good too. So,
Absolutely.
That's what I like.
I think they're all good. I mean, from the
They're all
curling to
good.
the bobsled, the skeleton is scary as hell, 70 miles an hour
Oh, yeah.
straight head first.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
back in the
something
day, but not
that
today.
those sports we won't see down here in the deep south, right here in Georgia. We only get an inch of snow every now and then. It's
Thank
rare.
God.
Yeah,
Thank God.
then it goes away. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on, Ben. I really appreciate it. We look forward to having you. And so we're going to have a couple of videos going, and then we're going to ask you to answer some questions. Does that sound cool to you?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, excellent. So let's start out. I don't know if you know this. Actually, before we do that, Ben, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for people that don't know who you are?
Okay, yeah. Ben Blackwell. I'm serving on the Rincon City Council. I'm just starting my second term. I was appointed to fill an empty seat when one council member left. So I filled 6 months of that seat and then got elected my first term and just got reelected last November. But I've been in the Savannah area since 1987, where the Army brought me here, where I was stationed at Hunter Army Airfield. And when I got out of the Army, I just decided to stay in the area and enjoyed it ever since. So
that's awesome. I also retired out of Hunter Army Airfield aviation myself. Let me ask you, you said you lived in Pooler, right? For a little while?
yes, I did. I lived in Pooler for about 8 years and then I moved up to Rincon. Yeah.
So how have you like the change of everything? I mean, you've seen it from back then. So like I saw it in 2002, but how much of a change has it been for you since you've been here?
Well, yeah, when I was in Pooler, the Pooler Parkway wasn't even there. I remember we got our bikes when they started building it, and it was just a dirt road. And the wife and I got on it at Highway 80 there at the Piggly Wiggly at the time, and rode all the way over to I-95. And at that point, that's as far as it was going, right there, 95 to Highway 80. So a lot has changed. It is grown by leaps and bounds. And so I'm sort of glad I left because they got a lot of traffic issues, as you can well imagine. Yeah.
Say what?
Yeah. Brandon, do they have traffic issues in Pooler?
I have no idea what you're talking about. It's such a beautiful place. No traffic here.
Well, I'll tell you, the mayor and the council of Pooler said they are working on it. So if you watch our last videos, you can see Mayor Karen Williams talk about it and the pro temp Aaron Henry. So, I mean, They're working on it. So
Yeah.
check out that video.
I sure will.
All right. So, all right, we're if you're not aware, I'm sure you're aware, Ben. We had talked about this earlier, but the Port Whitworth had approved data centers ordinance that kind of outlines data centers and what they are in the ordinance. And I just want to play this video for you, and then we're going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Once we found out that they are looking into Chatham County, especially Port Wentworth and Effingham County, we were like, hey, we don't have anything like this. We don't have any ordinance, anything protecting the city. And that's why it felt like, that it was rushed, but we had to put some kind of guardrails there. I mean, they could come in there, put in an application in January, categorize themselves as an industrial warehouse. And then what do? Just battle it out in court for as long as we can?
Who has the money and the time for that?
Definitely not Port Wentworth. So I say it sounds like you guys are willing, if we see that there's other changes that can be made to the ordinance, you guys are willing to change that. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Yeah. So Ben, since Port Wentworth has already approved a data center ordinance, as similar projects expand across the region, how is Rincon preparing for the possibility of a data center proposal? And what are the policies or safeguards that the city would want in place if one were to pursue that location?
Yes, data centers has been brought up and mentioned several times in our workshops and discussions among council members. And so we're working with our planning and zoning department to make sure our codes are up to date for zoning. And we're going to limit, if we do get a data center, we're going to limit it to the already zoned industrial areas here in Rincon. And there's only like one area that they could, or two possible, that they could go into at this point because it's zoned industrial. And so we'll be looking at strengthening our code to make and defining what a data center is, and all the specifics about that in our code. So when, like the gentleman before said, you just can't come in here with build a warehouse and then put a data center in it. It's got to say it's a data center because we got it defined in our code.
Okay. Well, so what have you done any research on data centers and its impact on environment or noise or anything like that? Or has the council done any research on that you're aware of?
We have, and a lot of the council members have done some also. And we come to learn that the initial data centers, when they were built way back, starting probably, 2010 or whatever, when the internet started exploding, they were big old buildings. They were noisy. They had a lot of light and that kind of thing. And nowadays, the data centers, they build them where they're totally enclosed. So it looks like a warehouse. It's a nice building. And while we were up at Effingham days at Atlanta just a couple of weeks ago, we actually visited one in a industrial zone of Atlanta. And we drove right up to it, nice building. We got out of the van. You couldn't hear a thing. I could hear the birds chirping across the street. And across the street was a neighborhood. We didn't see any residents to get their opinions, but it was very quiet. So everything was inside, and there was, the only lighting would have been what you would see on a normal warehouse, the down shining lights and that kind of thing. And all the cooling systems they had there was two buildings, and they built the cooling system in between the two buildings to minimize the noise, if any, because we didn't hear it at that time. So, and this was in downtown Atlanta. We come to learn there's some smaller data centers in the Savannah area, like Gulfstream has their own. I'm sure some of the telecommunication companies, they have some smaller data centers in and around, but they're inside buildings as far as I know. But what we saw looked really nice. And what we were told also that they use their cooling system, they recycle the water. Whereas the old ones, they would use like 100,000 gallons a day just for cooling. And the ones that they're building now use recycled water. So initially there'll be a lot of water intake, but then over time they'll just use maybe an extra 1,000 gallons a week due to loss in the system, evaporation and whatnot. So, or little minor leaks, but, and so, and the issue, I guess, would be backup generators, but we didn't see any there, so I'm not sure what they have. But most of them use either diesel or natural gas generators, which if they're running, they're going to be a little loud. And of course, they're going to put out a little bit of particulates in their pollution. So emissions and so forth.
Okay. And did they show you like the zoning ordinance that they used in Atlanta to make sure that
No, we didn't get into that. We just had a quick visit. It was like drive up, spend about 20 minutes walking around the exterior because we couldn't go inside or anything like that to check it out. But it was an interesting visit just to, I'm sure we could pull up the ordinances online and look at them to sort of mimic them or add them to our code as we see fit, which is easy to do. Yeah, it's all online now.
Okay, fair enough. You guys went to a data center and it was quiet. I love it.
Yeah, it's quiet.
All right. Did they tell you what type of data center it was? Was it a mega data center? Was it a data center for like a hospital or?
No, it was a big one, some telecommunication company of some kind, because the two buildings were huge. They were like warehouse sized buildings.
Okay. All right, great. Well, then let's move on from data centers and move on to the next one that is affecting Rincon and Effingham area.
Are you sure? You got no more questions for data centers? You are good with
Well, I mean, I got to
sure?
take everybody at their word. If he said he can't hear nothing, what am I supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, what other questions do I have?
We talked about
Do you
data
have
centers
any?
for like a month. No,
I mean,
I was ready after week 2. I was just making sure that you got your kick on the data centers.
Look, I
I was
mean,
doing it for you.
I appreciate that. I am passionate about data centers. I just hear all these bad things about power, water, noise, and all that stuff. I mean, so of course, and they're trying to put one across the street from my house. So yeah, I'm pretty upset about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't have the money to just move?
I mean, I don't have the money to just move. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, let's move on from data centers. I mean, and go to the next issue that's affecting Rincon right now. So let's check this out.
Happening today, Effingham County leaders are considering a major change that will impact library services throughout the county. Live Oak Libraries currently runs Effingham's 2 libraries. However, the Board of Commissioners are voting tonight, meeting to leave Live Oak and create their own system. Our Mackenzie Baker explains.
Today, the Effingham County Board of Commissioners will vote on a resolution to withdraw from the Live Oak Public Library system. If passed, the county will create their own system that will control the Rincon and Springfield libraries. The vote comes after a county-hired consultant reviewed their agreement with Live Oak. Officials say the goal was to, quote, make sure your tax dollars are being spent wisely while ensuring that library services in Effingham County are the very best they can be.
This decision is being based on the financial analysis of it. It was hard to ignore that, and quite frankly, I don't think we would be doing our job, or my board would be doing their job as stewards of taxpayer money if they ignored that discrepancy in how much we're paying.
County officials believe operating a single county library system will save them money in the future. Live Oak Public Libraries is adamantly against Effingham County's decision to withdraw. In a statement, Live Oak's executive director Lola DeWitt said, "We believe any decision to separate the Rincon and Springfield branches after more than 80 years should be taken only after careful deliberation of the facts and services. A decision like this deserves daylight and community engagement. If the county withdraws from Live Oak, 93% of the books and materials in the current collection will be removed, as well as 90% of the technology, including computers, printers, and hotspots. Some residents are also worried about what the new system will look like under local control. Lauren Lassiter, an Effingham resident I spoke with, said in part, "It's my belief that this method of, quote, saving the library money is a roundabout tactic of banning books and being selective of what is on display." In late 2023, members of the Board of Commissioners raised concerns over children's accessibility to LGBTQ+ and sexually explicit content within the Effingham libraries. Live Oak officials say if the Rincon and Springfield libraries leave the system, Effingham residents will still have access to their Chatham and Liberty County libraries. Reporting for WTOC News, I'm Mackenzie Baker.
Wow. All right. So, Ben, let me ask you, is Rincon better off losing or leaving Live Oak, or did they lose something valuable here?
Only time will tell, but in my personal opinion, I think we might be losing some value. Because I know that library, as it was a year ago, had a very strong children's program. They come in during the summer, after school, and they were just busting at the seams. And we were trying to get a new library that was bigger so they'd had more space to expand their children's program. And that's what started just looking at the money, I guess, part. And the commissioners actually decided to pull out. They control the purse strings when it comes to the library. The library in Rincon is on city property, in a city building, but it's a three-way joint venture, I guess you could say, and they control the purse strings. So right now, the library is reducing hours. They've lost staff due to promotions, retirements, and transfers, I guess, and so they've reducing hours now. So we'll just have to wait and see.
So do we have any idea like what the county library system will look like for Rincon families?
Not right now. There hasn't been anything that I'm aware of that's been put out. I know it's still a Live Oak library and it's still operating. Like I said, it reduced hours, and the Springfield branch is also at reduced hours. And until the final agreement between, the actual library equipment, books, and that kind of thing is agreed upon and signed, those libraries will still operate. And then it might be I suppose, maybe a couple of months before the new library system gets up and running, because they'll have to hire staff and order books and set up the computer equipment, if whatever that's left out of this agreement.
Wow.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
all right. So, gotcha. So we'll run into something a little bit more opposite of a library with our
Okay.
next with our next clip. It's a little rough.
Well, for that, I want to say, if you're watching and you have questions for Ben, please put it in the chat so we can ask him right there. He can see it. Josh said happy birthday to my son. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. All right. So the next one is slightly different. Well, a lot different, actually. But before we go into that, if you like reading a book, if you tell us what you think about them pulling out a Live Oak, put it in the chat. All right, here we go. Next video.
Lincoln at the Effingham Park Apartments say they've had enough, calling out what they say is a lack of transparency from management. It comes after a military veteran was robbed at gunpoint. It was caught on camera there last week. WJCL 22 News' Tia Maggio talked to a resident who says she's now moving out.
After our coverage aired Wednesday, a longtime resident reached out to WJCL 22 News, saying security has always been a concern here and that management didn't fully disclose what happened in that robbery last week.
100% I will be leaving. Yep, there is nothing else to discuss when it comes to my safety, but my children's safety. Like, you can't have children in an environment like that.
Strong words from a longtime resident of Effingham Park Apartments who asked to remain anonymous, requesting we hide their face and alter their voice for safety.
That's what I gotta know. That's what I got. I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. Get away from the door.
It's after police say two suspects were caught on camera holding a man at gunpoint, stealing his wallet, keys, and car before driving off.
I haven't been able to sleep. I constantly look at my Ring camera just to make sure that, No one's out there.
The resident says she didn't learn about the crime from management, but from a family member who saw the video online.
He sends me the video and I freak out. I'm like, what is going on right here where I live? Like, literally right here.
An email.
Oh man, I tell you what, that is shocking to see, right? Especially to an Army veteran, and shocking to watch it on the ring cam, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So Ben, have you had any of the citizens like kind of come up to you guys, the city council, and ask about public safety or crime in the area?
We get the typical, kids running through the neighborhood, that kind of thing. A little bit of vandalism. We had some a year or so ago. We had a lot of vandalism over our golf course, but it was kids, and that's the type of crime that we see a lot. This one that was on the clip there is a big outliner. We don't typically see that kind of crime in Rincon, and I know the police are on top of it. We get some reports. I can't mention everything, but we're able to identify one of the suspects that's face wasn't totally covered, and they issued an arrest warrant for him as a person of interest, I guess, just to check out his details. But it's still an unsolved crime. The last time had any information provided to the council, so it's still out there, and the police do a fairly good job around here and helping out the citizens. We had a fire not long after, back in January, in a house where a policeman and a fireman went into a burning house and saved a lady that had actually suffered some burns and everything. They got her out. Otherwise, she would have perished in the fire here in Rincon. So our guys do step up, and when it comes to our safety, they're on top of it.
Go Rincon.
Right.
Yeah.
With the rate of growth taking place in Rincon right now, would you say that there's enough police and emergency resources?
Well, there is enough, but the problem is we have enough slots, but as we grow, we're going to have to add more police personnel, fire personnel. The biggest problem is trying to retain those guys, because they'll find, for whatever reason, most of them leave for financial reasons. Either they live in Savannah, have to travel up here, or somebody else, they're looking around for a bigger paycheck, mainly is why they leave. And so we try to keep the salaries up to date, and we give them raises as things like that. We provide all the equipment. The police department, they rotate their cars. The fire department just got a new pumper truck last year, and we get a new ladder truck this year. So we keep them well equipped with the latest and greatest in equipment. So
there's a lot of like complexes and stuff. Like if you as a police officer live there, they give you like a discount because you're like the protection
security.
Yeah.
I suppose some of the restaurants do give them the discount. I'm not privy to that or anything, because I surely don't get it as a councilman, but I don't expect to get that because I work for the citizens anyhow. So as they told me when I got elected and went to training, said, we do a lot of work for very little pay, which happens to be true. So
that's a theme going on here. I'll tell you that much. I heard that several times. So they don't do it for the money, to do it for the.
No, we do it. Yeah, I love serving the city and helping the city citizens, and helping us grow responsible, and I enjoy it. I learn a lot.
All right, Ben, as we grow, I mean, what is the one infrastructure issue that concerns you the most as Rincon continues to grow?
Well, there's actually two, but I guess the one that everybody complains about the most is traffic. It's just the number of people up here. And if you sit at any of our red lights trying to cross Highway 21, and you look at the occupants in the car, they're mostly single drivers. So the traffic problem is created by our citizens here, and all wanting to drive to and from wherever they're headed. Most of them are coming home from work or going to work, typically, you know, they live in Effingham and work in Savannah. So I understand that. We don't have the area, doesn't have a area mass transit, which would be nice. But the other problem that Rincon is having is our wastewater treatment plant. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just at capacity right now. And so we got some money, and we're fixing to, the engineers got it all worked out. We're just going through the bid process now to find the contractor to get that expanded so we can add another 400,000 gallons to our capacity. And once that's completed, we can start building and growing, but we'll have to start over and add some more capacity to that wastewater treatment plant so the city can grow. Mainly it's going to be homes, you know, and small businesses and things like that. We hope, you know, that come into the city. But those are the two biggest things. When it comes to traffic, there's very little we can do on Highway 21. That's a state road, and the city has no authority over that. We can't do anything to it. Now, we did do an engineering study with a firm and did like looking at speed limits and things like that. They took daily counts. They looked at all the traffic and accident reports, and they came up with a recommendation to lower the speed limit on Highway 21 and also another major corridor, Fort Howard and Road in Rincon. And those are going to be all at 35 miles an hour within the city limits. Basically, from about where Planet Fitness is, all the way up to the viaduct at 4th Street will be a 35-mile-an-hour zone. And we had to wait to get approval from the state, and they agreed, and it's just taking some more paperwork and engineering, I guess, whatever, for to get it done. And so when it happens, it'll happen this year sometime. We don't have the time frame though.
We'll never get anywhere at 35 miles an hour.
No, but the way it's going now, though, we got a 45 mile, and there's a lot of accidents there.
We're about to speak on that. So let me show a video real quick.
Okay.
Person is dead after an early morning crash on Highway 21 in Rincon. Tonight, we're hearing from investigators and neighbors who say the intersection where it happened has long been a safety concern. WJCL 22 News' Grace Rodriguez has the story.
Police were called to a crash here in Rincon early Wednesday morning, a crash so severe it left one dead. It happened just before 4:30 on Wednesday morning. Officials with the Effingham County Sheriff's Office tell me the victim was making an unassisted left turn from 4th Street onto Highway 21 when they were struck by a car heading north down the highway. That driver heading northbound taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver turning left pronounced dead at the scene. I spoke with Brian Bailey, Public Information Officer for the Effingham County Sheriff's Office. He shared as much as he could with me.
Right now, the traffic unit is still, kind of looking into everything. The team is still trying to get in touch with next of kin before, we're able to release any additional information.
Bailey tells me that the Rincon Police Department initially arrived on scene, but they called for assistance from the Effingham County Sheriff's Office and Georgia State Patrol because the collision resulted in a fatality. The police are still working to notify the victim's family before they release their identity. I visited a business that sits across from the intersection. Their employees tell me they're frustrated by how dangerous the intersection is for them and their customers.
I've almost been in several accidents in the 5 years that we've been here at Allie's Bakery of people coming out with me pulling in. They are looking at traffic coming from the left. They're looking at people coming over the hill, the overpass, and that causes a lot of issues sometimes.
Porter shared that crashes are frequent at the intersection, things like fender benders or minor hits. This is the first time she's seen a death. The Effingham County Sheriff's Office wasn't able to tell me the cause of the crash. Regardless, they advised that drivers stay alert and never drive distracted. I reached out to the Georgia Department of Transportation and have not yet heard back. The staff at Alley's tell me that some of their customers are so worried about the infrastructure that they drive out of their way around a nearby school onto a street with a traffic light because they don't feel safe driving down this road. Reporting in Rincon, Grace Rodriguez, WJCL 22 News.
You know what it reminds me of? That it's the when you're coming out of my neighborhood, Brandon, on the 21 on the 4 lane, it's like a murderer's row by that gas station. Ben, you know what I'm talking about? Not the Publix light, but that intersection before that, if you're going towards Rincon from Savannah.
Yours is worse. Yours is way worse.
Well, yeah,
because they're all stacking up on the lights, and you're like right there at those lights. There's no lights, so like people are just going. You have to look both ways at least twice.
Yes, and that intersection is. I try to avoid it, and sometimes I can't. I go like the reporter was stating. I go down Lexington Avenue down to 9th Street, really to come out at the red light there on 9th Street and 21 because it's a lot safer. Yeah, it takes a little extra time because you got to wait on the light usually, but it's a lot safer. But that intersection where the lady was killed is dangerous, and that's one of the reasons we were trying to lower the speed limit. But unfortunately, the study didn't indicate the speed limit over the viaduct warranted a reduction because as soon as you go over it, it turns from 35 to 45 all the way up to Springfield. But there's not enough side traffic, I guess, coming in and out on the either side of the highway to warrant a reduced speed limit. So the state didn't reduce it, but they did reduce it from where it currently ends right there at Fort Howard Road, and there all the way over to where Planet Fitness is and Westwood. That will be reduced from 45 to 35. So
is it after Westwood?
No, it won't go past that because, believe it or not, the city limits goes on the left side down to where the new Bank of Newington is, but we don't have any city property on the right-hand side, so we can't.
Really?
Law says you got to have it on both sides of the road in order to reduce the speed limit. So
is that Guyton over there to the right?
What's that?
You're saying so it's Guyton on the right-hand side of the road and Rincon on the left-hand side of the road?
No, it's the county. It's county.
Oh,
okay. The subdivision of Westwood is in the county.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, I don't know. I don't live in Rincon.
So that's one of those technicalities. Yeah. We were all flabbergasted when that came out too.
So is there a real plan to address the traffic with how much Rincon's growing?
Well, the only thing that Rincon can do is push for some of the major projects that have been announced to get them funded, to get them moving. And one of them is the widening of Highway 21 from State Route 30 there at Highway 21 95 interchange all the way up through 9th Street in Rincon. But it's been broken down into 2 phases right now. And the first phase will end at McCall, just outside the city limits of Rincon. And so they got where it's going to be 6 lanes coming in and out. And most of the work, from what I've seen, most of the work's going to go in the middle where the median is right now. So, and there'll be a couple of spots that are kind of tight, so I'm not sure how they're going to work around those. But, and then the second phase, once that's completed, they'll start planning it, and that's probably about 20 years down the road. But the current project is probably the widening will start in probably 2030. Hopefully we can get it moved up a little earlier, but the way things move in the traffic department and GDOT, it's slow. So don't look for anything, no dirt moving until 2030 at the earliest. Yeah.
Before the 35 miles an hour thing?
Yeah.
All right. So Ben, let me ask you, how do you feel like transparency and communication between the city council and the people are? How do you think it is?
I think it's working pretty good. It's just that some of the council members get a lot of feedback from citizens, and others get, just a little bit. So we just ask the citizens to contact us. We got all our contact information is through the city. We each have a city email. They can contact us that way. And they can also go on to, we have an app. The city has an app called Citizen Central that they can download that app and submit concerns there. They can actually even pay their water bill if they wanted to through the app. And so it's got a lot of good information. And that's how we broadcast a lot of emergency stuff too. So like a water main break or a road closure of any kind like that, we'll put it out on the app, So,
There's an app.
yeah, and there's the app for that. And Effingham County has got a new app coming out too, if it's not already out, doing the same thing for the county. So that's how the citizens can get in touch with us,
Where do we find this app? Because I'm on your website. Where do we go?
I'm not sure if it's on the website. They just redid the website, but I'm not sure if it's in the App Store. The way I got it was I went to City Hall, of course, going in there all the time, and they have one of those little square icons where you point your
QR
camera
code.
or phone and you download it that way. So,
Oh,
now
could you email that to me? And I could
try to get that to you. Yes.
Yeah, just email it to me, and I can actually, what I can do is after we get off, it doesn't have to be today, obviously.
Right.
I would like it as soon as possible, but I could put it in the description down below, and then the people seeing this video later, they can
That's a good idea.
Go
and we're putting it on our water bills too. So
watch out on your water bills. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so excited to find an easier way to pay a bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Convenience is nice though. So what would you say the one thing that people just don't understand about how city council decides on things or comes to decisions on certain matters?
That's a toughie. We have to do some research on whatever the issue may be. A lot of what we do is, pay the bills, basically, stuff that's pretty cut and dry. But like say, for example, the data centers, we all have to get online, start looking at stuff, try to do some work, research on our own. And then we have workshops, which the public is welcome to attend. And we discuss those issues, whatever they may be at the time. One time it was like the data centers, how we're going to control them and that kind of thing. So we have one about new developments that's come into town. We talk to the developers to get an idea of what they're proposing before they actually start doing any of the requirements the city has, for permitting. And
so are people coming to these workshops?
Occasionally we do. Sometimes the workshops are real small, and we have some nonprofits show up every now and then promoting a event that they're going to have in the future. Like the Lions Club, they always come some of the workshops to discuss the Christmas parade each year that we have in Rincon, because they sponsor that. The city just provides the services for road closures and that kind of thing.
So
they're open to the public. Yeah.
Where do you guys put the information out if you're going to do a workshop? Say, of course, I'm very interested in the data center thing. Thank you, Brandon.
Well, the city does have a Facebook page, and I know the city council meetings are every second and fourth Monday of the month. The workshops are sporadic. They'll put those out, and they're also posted on the front door of the city hall. They're usually out there the week before. So if we was to have one Wednesday, it would have been out like Thursday of last week.
Okay, so you're saying it would be on the Facebook page or on the city hall door?
Correct.
Okay. All right, and probably on the website too, I'd imagine, right?
It's probably on the website too. Yeah.
There's probably a QR code for that too.
Don't know about that, but yeah, we'll look for the QR code for Citizen Central. Yeah.
We can create one. We got you.
All right, so last question, Ben. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we did not bring up?
It's one thing, I guess the hardest thing is for the citizens to understand that we're limited in what we can do sometimes. We have a charter that outlines what the city can do, and the city council can do certain things, but we can't do everything. A good example is like the speed limits on Highway 21. That's a state highway. We can't do anything with it. We have to submit proposals on, like the speed limits or flashing lights. So it's a learning process too for us. Anybody that gets elected, but it's interesting work, and I enjoy it, and it can be challenging a lot, but we're just limited in what the city council can do. We work through our staff. They really have the power to do stuff, because they work with the codes and that kind of thing. The city manager runs the day-to-day operations of the city, but we as the council actually do the big stuff. We make the laws and ordinances and pay the bills and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of what I'm learning myself, and Brandon said to me when we talked, we learn a lot doing these. I'm very happy that we kind of we got with Tracy Saunders of Port Wentworth, kind of opened our eyes to a whole new way to go. And heck, just talking to city council members of Port Wentworth, talking to the mayor of Pooler, talking to you, talking to everybody, we have really had a better understanding of city politics than I ever thought I was gonna do. So I mean, I appreciate you coming on, and I think for anybody looking to get in contact with Ben about anything, who do you represent, Ben? Like, what are you like separated by districts, or are you guys like Pooler where they're just everybody's representing?
We're like Pooler. We are at large. We're not big enough yet, like say Savannah, to have districts. In the future that may happen, but right now all of us are at large. We represent all the citizens in the city of Rincon.
So if anybody want to get a hold of you, Ben, how would they get a hold of you? What's your number
that
you can share? They not be giving.
They can reach me through the
number.
I have a city email. They can reach me through there.
Okay, what's that?
It's on the website. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and we'll put it down in the description. Brandon, is there anything you want to ask Ben before we let him go?
No, I'm just hoping that 35 miles an hour doesn't start till long time ago.
Yeah, it's been approved, so it's just a matter of time.
Got enough.
Well, hopefully it's as slow as they say. And Jerry Brake said, great job. It's important what you two are doing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you at the gym maybe tomorrow morning.
Okay, sure thing, Patrick. Nice meeting you, Brandon.
Yeah. Nice meeting you. Thanks, Ben.
And Brandon, I wanted to put up our last slide here to make sure everybody knows what's going on in the next few weeks, if you want to talk about it a little bit.
So we're hoping Lucy comes on to talk about Georgia Power, because raise your hand if you can't stand Georgia Power. Everybody. Hi, Mom. But if she doesn't, we're hoping to get somebody else that we have in the works. I will clarify that later just to make sure. Yeah. And then Mark Stevens is coming on March 2nd, which is cool. I mean, I think a lot of people are excited about that one.
Yeah, it's Port Wentworth right there.
Oh, yeah. And then
talking about data centers, and what's the best case scenario if we got one? Like, how are the citizens going to benefit? That's some of the questions we're going to ask.
Oh my God. This video, like talking to him, was the probably the only time I heard a potentially minor kind of positive like outlook on data centers.
Yeah.
So debatable. But March 9th, it's probably just going to be me and Megan, which is going to be we're just going to go over the market reports and let you guys know what the numbers are, what's happening in the area. Patrick has better things to do than hang out with us, so that's cool.
Trying
And
to go to
then-
Nashville with my son for his birthday, so that's the goal.
His birthday's already passed.
Yeah.
Nashville's fun. So, and then on March 16th, Michael McCord, who is running for the U.S. House of Representatives, we're gonna have him on. This will be fun.
He's running for Buddy Carter's seat. I'm trying to get Krista Penn on here. So Michael's a Democrat. I'm trying to get Krista Penn on here as a Republican. I reached out to her. She has not gotten back to me. If anybody you know her, then have her give us a call. But yeah, we're trying now that the election season starting to come about in 2026. It's going to get heated,
as it always does.
Absolutely. So we appreciate you guys watching, and then come next week, I'm hoping that we get Lucy, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not looking good, but I'm hoping she comes through. If not, we got someone else planned for you, so don't worry about it. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.